Good evening, everyone. This is your evening news recap, your nightly news podcast on all the news that I come across throughout the day, giving you my take as somebody who aspires to be a politician in the near future. Hopefully, all you guys are doing wonderful. Hopefully, all you guys are well. Today is February 6th, and it is Friday. Hopefully, all you guys had a wonderful week, and hopefully, all you guys have a wonderful weekend. The Super Bowl, of course, is this weekend for those NFL fans. I'm rooting for the Patriots because I hate the Seahawks. Truly, I grew up in California. What do you expect? No offense to the Seahawks fans, but at the end of the day, I am still a Browns fan. What can I say? I chose poverty. But hey, we had some good award winning last night. Outside of that, though, hopefully all you guys are doing well. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. All the support would be greatly appreciated. As we are trying to reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube by this summer, we are currently sitting at like 850. We just hit 800 10 days ago. Thank you all so much for subscribing. It truly means the world to me. We are having crazy growth on this channel. So help me get to 1,000. That would be super dope. And then after that, 100,000. Hopefully. Outside of that, though, if you're on Substack, please consider subscribing as well. It's $8 a month. All funds go to me. Helps me pay for the things that I need to pay for in my life, like my groceries, clothing, and all of that. I think that's all the news that I have for today. Actually, no, I don't. Just want to remind you all that there will be no episodes this weekend. Unfortunately, I'm just too busy to have an opportunity to record. I apologize for that. We will return to episodes on Monday. Outside of that, though, that is all I have for the announcements today. So let's get on into our headlines in history. The headline we have from today is from February 6th of 1988. The House has impeached Arizona's governor, sending him to trial in the state Senate vote of 46 to 14. The Arizona House of Representatives impeached Governor Evan McCam for trying to conceal $350,000 in campaign loans and other misdeeds. The Times reported he was removed from office that April, the first governor to be impeached and removed from office in 59 years. After he left office, he was found not guilty in criminal trial. This, of course, is definitely very interesting. Governors aren't very often impeached. I mean, to be fair, not everyone is often impeached. Unfortunately, the last few presidents that we have have made that trend a little different. But hey, it's really not normal to see an impeachment, and it is definitely interesting to see a governor impeached at that. And it's definitely interesting to see that he wasn't found guilty either after being impeached. But hey, it's interesting nonetheless. Outside of that, though, let's get into the headlines from today. Moving on into the Trump administration segment as we do. The first topic we have today is Trump is demanding his name on Penn Station and Dulles Airport. Trump is telling Chuck Schumer that he will only unfreeze projects to fund infrastructure in New York and New Jersey if they rename Dulles International Airport and Penn Station after him, according to the new report from The Guardian. This comes after Trump halted $18 billion in funding for the major line expansion in New York City and the new rail tunnel to connect to New Jersey. How many things does this man need to have his name on? I mean, he has his name on all of his properties. He's got it on the Kennedy Center now. What's next? The Trump White House? Like, what are we doing truly? Like, we are just on a string of ruining the integrity of, these honestly historical sites. And it's really sad. Not to mention, it's a waste of your taxpayer dollars, And if Doge was around right now, you'd think that this would not be something they'd support, right? It's just a waste, really is. It's honestly how laughable, how much of a waste of time and how dumb this is. He refuses to fund projects that will actually help the American people and help develop infrastructure in this country just because he wants to fuel his ego, which is wild. It is truly scum of the earth. And a man like that should never be allowed to be president. In other news, Trump posted an insanely racist video of former President Barack Obama. Trump posted an extremely racist video of former President Barack Obama and his wife Michelle, displaying them as monkeys and Trump as the king of the jungle in a post on Truth Social. The video sparked tons of outrage online, and rightfully so. The administration has blamed a staffer for the incident despite defending the decision to post it. It, of course, has been deleted at this point. This does not shock me to see that Trump has posted something like this, but it is definitely insane, right? The amount of racism thrown at Obama and his family from the right in this country truly does break my heart, especially as somebody who really looked up to Obama as a kid. It's really disgusting how much of an issue we have with racism in the United States today. And I really do hope that one day we can fix it and have a world without it. Unfortunately, it is just so deep rooted into our country that that would take a lot to change. But I do think that it is very possible to one day in the future get past racism. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all people. Racism is truly the stupidest thing ever. Who the fuck cares about what color someone's skin is? Sorry for cussing, but I mean, at the end of the day, who cares, right? You know, I don't know about you guys, but I hate people all the same. You know, I don't care what you look like. If I hate you, I hate you. It's just how it goes, you know? Like, it is truly the stupidest thing of all time to hate someone based off the color of their skin. Anyways, in other news, Trump has deleted this racist post and is blaming a White House staffer for it. Following the extremely racist post made by Trump on Truth Social displaying former President Barack Obama as a monkey, it has now been deleted, and the Trump administration is blaming a White House staffer for posting this after the White House decided to defend the post, of course. Trump has not made any comments about this, but a subordinate will reportedly take the blame. You know, this was definitely posted by Trump. There's no doubt in my mind about that. He does stuff like this literally all the time. All the time. You know, what was it? Just a few months ago, he posted Hakeem Jeffries in a sombrero. But it's not even just that. Like, he has regularly posted these extremely racist videos on his True Social, on his social media, and nobody cares. And, you know, I'm not saying that, like, people shouldn't care now. You definitely should care about stuff like this. This is fucking disgusting. Nobody should be posting stuff like this, especially the president, who is supposed to represent and unify all the people, right? But he does this all the fucking time. He really, really does. And it's getting tiring. Something needs to be done about it because the president shouldn't be allowed to just post blatantly racist videos on the internet. You know, he is the president of the United States. He is supposed to represent the American people. And, you know, being racist doesn't really represent the American people. Maybe some of us, but at the end of the day, we are a shit ton of people in this country. There are a shit ton of people from so many different ideologies, so many different belief systems, so many different skin colors, so many different sexualities. Like, we are truly one of the most diverse countries in the world. For the president to go out there and post these racist things on his own social media platform is not only disgusting, but it is directly against unifying and representing the American people. It really, really is. And it's disgusting. It is. You know, unfortunately, again, this is nothing new in our country. You know, it's been the case really since the start. The MAGA movement is just the next one of these groups to capitalize on it, but it needs to be dealt with. We need to re-educate people. You know, we need to end this stigmatism against people of color. You know, but not just people of color, against people of, like, literally everywhere, right? Because racism is not okay, and it has a lot of other impacts outside of, you know, the negative ones. Like, it even has impacts on, you know, your day-to-day life. Even if you're a white person, it has impacts on your day-to-day life, right? Like, it has so many impacts, and it truly needs to be dealt with because it's not anything positive. Anyways, moving on into our segment about the Epstein files, where we have one topic here tonight. The Clintons are demanding to publicly testify. Former President Bill Clinton and his wife Hillary are now demanding to publicly testify on the Epstein files following their agreements to do so. In a post on Twitter, Hillary Clinton wrote, "For 6 months, we engaged Republicans on the Oversight Committee in good faith. We told them what we know under oath. They ignored all of it. They moved the goalposts and turned accountability into an exercise of distraction. So let's stop the games. If you want this fight, Rep. James Conner, you can have it. In public. You love to talk about transparency. There is nothing more transparent than a public hearing with the cameras on. We will be there." It is definitely interesting that Republicans seemingly do not want this hearing to be public now. I'm pretty sure, you know, at the start of this, that's what they were calling for, right? And I do think that a majority of Americans around the country would love to hear a former president testify on their involvement in the Epstein files. In fact, I think a majority of the Americans in this country would love to hear the current president testify on their involvements in the Epstein files. Fortunately, that will never be the case. You know, like, this is big. You know, like, the former president of the United States, being Bill Clinton, you know, is actively saying, "Hey, we want to publicly testify. We want to do this in front of the American people. We want to let the American people what we know because you are clearly ignoring what we have told you, which is a big deal. We need to hear this. In fact, it would be a great deal to hear this. I would love to watch this because it's important. It really is. This is one of the biggest human trafficking cases in the history of the world that we know of, right? And it's a big deal that it's talked about, especially when world leaders are involved, especially when those leaders are involved. So I don't know. I find it wild that they don't want Clinton to testify in public now. But I hope they do. I really hope they do let him because it's a big deal. It really, really is. Anyways, moving on into our other news segment for tonight, JD Vance and his wife have been booed at the Winter Olympics. During the opening ceremony for the Winter Olympics in Milan, many Americans received warm welcomes, but not the vice president and his wife. As the U.S. Olympians walked into the stadium, cheers rang out across the crowd until JD Vance and his wife Usha were shown on the Jumbotron. As soon as they were shown, Vance and Usha were booed at relentlessly and very loudly. This is absolutely great. It pleases me to see that fascists are getting booed around the world, right? I do honestly wonder, what's happening, to ICE because uh, they're apparently over there, right? But it doesn't seem like we know or not, and that is definitely really interesting. Outside of that, though, I think that's all the news we have for today. I do have a phone call that I have to take here that is very important, so I'm going to try and wrap this up quick. Thank you all for watching, though. I truly do appreciate it. Drop a subscribe if you're new. Drop a comment on the news. Let me know your thoughts for today, and I will see you all in tomorrow's episode.